What strategies do you recommend to maintain consistent sales after the initial launch period?
So whenever you think about a book launch and then the subsequent sales, we're essentially talking about two separate events almost. One is the book launch, so an orchestrated launch that we help create at Leaders Brands. And the other one is ongoing sales. So that's maintaining momentum. And that's more of an ongoing adventure. So what do we do to make sure that the initial spike of sales that we had continues? So there's a bunch of different things we can do. Like the avenues are, well, I'm not going to say endless, but there's a lot we can do. A lot of our authors, what they like to do is go on a speaking tour. So something that we call a virtual book tour. Go and do podcasts as a guest. Then those podcasts become something that continue to drive momentum, drive traffic, drive sales. That's a big one. Then there's everything on social media. So you need to find your angle, you need to find your niche, you need to find the type of social media channel that's going to work for you. But the most important thing is to stay relevant, to continue talking about your subject, to find a different angle that you know is going to hook the audience. And I feel like a lot of it is also repetition. So yes, a different angle, but essentially human beings learn through hearing things multiple times. And sometimes you might hear something 100 times when you're learning something, but it's the 101st time when you hear it that you're actually going to get it. So we do want to make sure that we find the right avenue. And at Leaders Brands, we have found certain avenues that work really well for authors. So if you want to find out what those are and how we help our authors, go to leadersbrands.com and check out how we've been able to help our leaders, our authors, continue getting momentum and sales for their books.
What does a successful author looks like 6 to 12 months after publishing?
How do you know you're going to be successful? So, let's say, we're able to come in at Leaders Brands, we're able to help you overcome any type of blocks that you might currently have, any reasons why you're not doing the book yet, and finally get it out there. Okay, so let's imagine the book is out there. Like what has to happen for you to know that this was the right choice? That, as some people say, the juice was worth the squeeze. Okay, so it's different. It's going to be different for different authors. Typically, whenever we work with leaders, the big thing is what does the book lead to us in terms of additional revenue that we're going to have access to that we currently don't have access to. And whenever you don't have a book, like you're missing out on a pretty big chunk of revenue because people are not able to find you. We know that authority comes from, a lot of authority comes from being an author. So when you're able to show that you are somebody who's worth listening to, somebody who's worth following, that's when you're opening yourself up to a whole bunch of new opportunities. So what does that mean specifically? For example, several years ago, I published a book called Outsource Your Book. And what happened? The co-founder of DHL found it. At the time, inside that book, there was a direct link to book a call with me. It's not the case anymore, but it was the case back then. And I had a meeting with the co-founder of DHL. As a result of that meeting, we created a book for DHL's 50th anniversary. The only way I could have reached him was through having a book that essentially answered his question, like how do you create a book without really having to do all the nitty-gritty. So he didn't come from any of our outreach. He came directly from a book that was out there. And then you can imagine what that means to a business in terms of revenue when you get a high-end client like that through an asset that you have. So that's one thing, and that's why we have multiple books, because we have multiple points of entry to be able to attract our specific target audience. So one thing is your business. Imagine adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients every month because your book is out there. You do the math. You know what your lifetime value is for every client. Like, what does that mean to you? Essentially, when I do the math with clients, like, we're typically, we talk about $250,000 a year, $500,000, $1 million a year. For some of our clients, Like, they just need one client. They just need one client, and they're good. Like, they know they were successful. The second thing, that's speaking opportunities. For a lot of our authors, the ideal future state of when their book is out is now they have some credibility here as an author, as a speaker. So when you're an author speaker, that's very different from being just a speaker. Because when you're a speaker at a speaking event, everybody's a speaker. But when you come in as an author or as a best-selling author, now you stand out. So let's try to monetize, let's monetize these speaking engagements. Typically, when our authors go on speaking engagements, they wouldn't charge less than $5,000 per speaking gig. So now let's see, how often do we actually want to do these speaking gigs? Typically, it wouldn't be less than twice a month. So if you do the math for that, you're at, what is that? $120,000 a year, and that's being conservative. That's just doing two a month and charging $5K. So you add that on to the consulting. Then you have the book sales, then you have the foreign rights, which essentially is a smaller chunk. Whenever you're a nonfiction author, when you're a business author, your main revenue is from what the book does for your business, for your speaking, and then the book is not just for the local market. In most cases, it's for the international market. So the third stream of income you can think about, once you're a published author, is where can your book be successful once it's available. So what are the other markets? What are the other countries? Like, huge markets right now are China, India, and there are a lot of readers in those markets. So what we do is, we're able to go and pitch the book to those foreign publishers, so they purchase licensing rights and publish the book. So you get the advance and you get the royalties from those traditional publishers. What does that mean? How much is that on? Well, it's typically, for the caliber of author that we typically help publish, is $3K per deal. So add on 2 or 3, so you add on $9K. And then you have the book sales. Okay, so that's going to depend on a bunch of different factors. But whatever number that is, for a nonfiction author, for a business author, for a leader, that's always going to be the smallest revenue stream, because what the book does for the business, for the speaking, in terms of opening those types of doors, that's always much larger than if you just focus narrowly on the book sales.
What actually changes in their life or business?
Once you publish your book, there's a big change. In many ways, it's an identity change. So you're no longer just somebody who every now and then gives some advice or says something smart. Now you are the authority. Now you have the guts to actually publish it and go public with it. It's a major identity shift. What I see often is the types of leaders that we work with. I go to their LinkedIn before they start working with us, and it says they are the founder and CEO of whatever company. Once their book has been published, I go again to their LinkedIn, and I see that what it says is best-selling author of book title and CEO and founder. So it's a complete identity shift. You're a different person. You speak differently. You hold yourself differently. You stand straighter. You walk with more authority. You speak with more authority. You convey your message in a much better way. Also, because the writing process itself allows you to clarify your thoughts. So you clarify your thoughts for yourself, and when you clarify your thoughts for yourself, then you're able to express them in a much clearer way. So your message becomes more crystallized, it becomes better, and that, as a consequence, allows you to become a much more attractive leader, author, speaker, going towards the public figure type of personality.
How do best-selling campaigns differ from long-term sustainable sales strategies?
So how do bestseller campaigns, orchestrated bestseller campaigns, differ from ongoing long-term book sales? Well, it's really fun to think about this. Any type of bestseller list, when you look at the books on it, those are all a result of a marketing campaign. It's extremely rare for a book to be on the list just for its writing. There are so many books that are coming out every day that without the right marketing, and that includes strategy that needs to be done before the packaging, SEO for books, all of that. It's you can have the best writing in the world. It's really unlikely that anybody will find it without the right marketing. So the marketing campaign itself is an orchestrated campaign where we make sure that your book gets on the bestseller list. That's something that happens in a relatively brief amount of time. Depending on the bestseller list, we need to have an increased number of sales within several days or sometimes hours. So we are creating a way to get the book a lot of sales in a compressed amount of time. So how do we do that? We typically leverage the audience that we already have. So if we have, and we do, 100,000 followers and subscribers, and we let them know several times in a short period of time that they should go and get the book, and they do, that's how we get your book on the bestseller list. Now, in terms of sustained sales over time, that requires a different strategy. Now, once we've shown the algorithms, or the Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo algorithms that the book indeed is a bestseller, it's already going to show it more in the right categories, because then Amazon says, okay, you book are making me Amazon money, so I'm going to show you in more categories so that I can make even more money. Makes sense, right? So now that we've established that, now we want to have something ongoing. So that's where we go into evergreen initiatives such as continuous podcasting or continuous videos or social media marketing. All these things that allow us to be evergreen and leverage that initial launch that we have.
What are the first real signs that a book is working for someone after it's published?
What are the first real signs that a book is working for you once it's published? Well, probably the first real signs are going to get even before it's published, when we go out and ask for editorial reviews. So we're going to go to leaders who are of the same caliber as we are or higher. And once we get positive reviews from them, like, that's a really good sign that this book is really something special. The next signs are going to be, you're going to start seeing the sales, so like people are actually going to be buying, and not just buying but leaving reviews. So that's one thing that happens. Shortly after, you're going to see people emailing you, and those might be emails just acknowledging how helpful the content was. But then essentially later it's going to be about, hey, can you come and join my event? Hey, do you want to come and speak at my podcast? Do you want to, in some cases, do you want to do the keynote at my event? So there's going to be more and more happening. We're going to have foreign publishers. We're going to have foreign publishers reach out and say, hey, like, we found your content really valuable. Are the rights to the book, like, first of all, are you the rights holder? Because, like, if you publish book traditionally, you're probably not the rights holder. Are you the rights holder? And if you are the rights to, I don't know, Chinese Simplified or whatever, are they still available? Because we'd like to purchase those rights. So there's going to be a lot of communication that you will get once the book is out. And if one thing takes us to the other, so let's say we go and we take that opportunity and we do that podcast. From that podcast, you will have maybe the podcast hosts themselves or listeners reach out and say, hey, like, that was really good, can you come and speak at my event? Or, hey, that was really good, we want you back. Or, hey, that was really good, I want a book too, how can I work with you? Or whatever your thing is. So it's not uncommon for me to hop on podcasts or other events and come out of there with at least one deal. So it's just a matter of showing up. If there's a saying, half of your success is showing up, there's something in it. If you show up, you're there, and your competitors are not there, like, you're just naturally, you have an unfair advantage. So show up.
What happens to leaders who never publish their book?
Everybody remembers those, right? Everybody remembers the leaders that nobody talks about anymore. Like, Okay, so that's just, a little bit of a sarcastic way of saying, hey, like, if you haven't published a book, like, you haven't really immortalized your insight and your contribution and what you're all about. Maybe somebody else will, maybe not, but even if they do, it's going to be from their point of view, in their words. So when we did the book, for example, for the co-founder of DHL, there were already other books about him, but he wasn't happy with those. What he wanted to do is he wanted to have something from his point of view and his words. Like, he wanted to be remembered that way. So that's a big deal, to know that you'll be remembered for your own insight in your own words. If you think about the world 100 years from now, like, we're probably not going to be in it. So what do we want to leave behind, and how do we want to leave behind? Like, a book is something that we can be pretty sure is going to stay. Whatever the technology, like, wherever you go, there are books on the bookshelves. And right now, with the ongoing digitalization, you're going to see that sometimes, like, not sometimes, more and more, the traditional thing, just like real human communication, a book has more value. You can't just, like, delete it with by pressing a button like you could a YouTube video. It's something completely of a completely different value, and we've been brought up also through our schooling system that authors are authorities. Like, what do you put in your backpack every day to go to school? Books. What do you not put? What do teachers not want to see? Like, typically, at least, what I'm saying, like, they don't want to see phones. Like, phones are typically banned. So books, yes. Phones, no. Right now, I don't feel like it's going to change much. Like, we still have that type of almost nostalgic thinking about an author. So it's really the choice is yours, right? Like, think about the world 100 years from now. Do you want to leave something behind, or do you just want to sort of slide through life without really leaving anything written down? Because we can make contributions in many different ways. We can help in many different ways. But there's only one way that we can really leave an in-depth explanation of how we've been thinking about life throughout these years. There's nothing more in-depth and nothing more thought out right now than a book. It's the densest type of medium because it requires a lot of effort and preparation to write a book. Even if you don't write it yourself, somebody, a professional, is going to put that effort in. So it's your insight, but the way the words are shaped on the page is, if you want the fastest amount of information, you want to gain the information the shortest amount of time, and you can listen to a podcast, go to a conference, or read a book. The fastest will be to read a book because it required the largest amount of time to prepare it, so it's going to be the best organized. Yes, podcasts are great because that's the latest. The conference is great, you can mingle, but the fastest is a book, and it's the one that's going to stay. Because it's very difficult then, 5 years from now, nobody's looking at the conferences that were hosted 5 years from now and 5 years ago and what was being said. But yes, people continue buying books that were printed or that were published 5 years ago, 10, 20, even 100. Some of the best-selling books, most meaningful books of all time were published 100 years ago. So if you want help in being able to formulate how best to leave a legacy or grow your business, how to write a book, go to leadersbrands.com, get yourself a copy of your book or your excuse, and make sure that your excuse isn't bigger than your goal and your motivation to write a book.